been driving this thing probably about a half hour now, but looks like it's staying nice and cool. Oil pressure's good. The gauges are all working right, except for the fuel gauge. Obviously, that sending unit is still not working properly. So, I'm going to have to try to find an NOS one. I am absolutely done with the aftermarket fuel sending units. You guys haven't been putting them in and they've been working for you. That is awesome. I have not installed one yet that works. As a matter of fact, that 78 Trans Am we just had in the shop to do the carburetor and rear tires on, that one, the fuel sending unit was not working for her either, and she thought she had a half a tank of fuel and ran out at the racetrack. These fuel sending units do not work. So I'm done with them. If I can't find an NOS one, I'm not putting a new sending unit in anymore. There's no sense in it. They don't work. So, but on a positive note, I absolutely love this TKX 5-speed. This thing is a nice transmission. Shifts good. The gear selection is, or the gear ratios are just right for this car anyway. This car's got a 355 rear end gear in it. And first gear's got plenty of pickup. Overdrive is nice. Cruises, I think, right around, I'll find out later. We'll get it on the highway here, but I think it cruises somewhere around 2,300 RPM at 60 miles per hour in overdrive, or 65 mile an hour. Again, I'll figure it out here in a minute, but just wanted to give you an update. Car's running cool, running nice. Today's about 80, 82 degrees outside. Not real humid, just a nice day. I have not run the AC yet. I'm going to do that here in a little bit. I just wanted to make sure that the car was not overheating currently with no AC on. That was one of the things that John said that he was having trouble with. The car was running a little hot for him, so we flushed the radiator, put new coolant in it, put a different electric fan on it, and so far, seems like everything is good. Kind of hard to shift gears and hold the steering, hold the steering wheel of the phone too. Right now we're doing a little under 40 mile an hour, maybe 35 miles per hour, tacking in fourth gear about 1800. The speedometer is accurate. We tested it on our chassis dyno. It gives us mile per hour on that thing, so we were able to dial the speedometer in exactly. This 55 is fun to drive. John's a tall guy, so, and there's not a whole lot of headroom in this car for being what was considered a full-size car. I'm good in it, but John, I'm sure he got a tough time seeing out of this thing. I mean, I'm almost eye level, or my forehead's about level with the top of the windshield here, and I'm only 5'6". So far, I've driven this thing in traffic and a little bit of highway driving and stop and go, setting at red lights, runs smooth, runs cool. Everything's working the way it's supposed to, which is good. All except for that pesky fuel gauge. And I will get that fixed. the rest of the week until Friday. That's why I wanted to get John's car out and drive it today. I really want to get this thing out of the shop. Had it a little too long, but we done a lot of work to this old girl. Put another AC compressor on it because the other one was starting to lock up, and recharged the AC system. Put a new serpentine belt on it. It was chewing that belt up, but it was because it was something wrong with the belt. I don't know. We put a green back or a green line belt on there, and it's been fine. We flushed the radiator, put another electric fan on it that pulls more CFM, so the engine runs cool. Even sitting in idle and it runs cool. With the AC on, we got the pressure switch for the AC, so that whenever you turn the AC on, the fans come on with the AC now, instead of having to manually do that with a switch, which is the way whenever whoever built this car had done it. They set it up that way, and that's really not the way to do it. The way we got it is the way it should be. And then found a bad U-joint on the drive shaft, or actually it wasn't a U-joint, it was actually the end of the drive shaft. Had a little vibration in it, and fixed that for John. Now it's got a new end on the drive shaft and a new U-joint. That made everything nice and smooth. We put rear disc brakes on this thing. We put this new Dakota digital dash in it and rewired everything. Got all the gauges working properly. We took the vacuum power booster off of this and put a hydro boost on it. And when doing so, made the power steering fluid a little run warm, so we had to put a power steering cooler on it, which is no big deal. We were able to get that taken care of too for him. And let's see what else. We've done quite a bit of work to this thing, actually. Actually runs really good for a small block Chevy. It's just a crate 350, probably rated at 300 horsepower, because at the tire it made 228, I think, or 220, 218, something like that. It was right around that. So that's just about right for 300 horsepower crate engine. Overdrive's nice. I just shifted into that. I don't know if you could hear it in the engine RPMs or not, but that is definitely the way to go. Like right now we're cruising about 50 miles per hour, and it's only tacking, I don't know, about 1800 in overdrive. Got an oil pressure gauge in the dash cluster we put in, plus it's got an oil pressure gauge in the dash that somebody else installed at an earlier date when they built this car. About the shaky video. It's a little tough to drive and hold the phone at the same time with a standard shift. It's a beautiful car, though. Absolutely beautiful car. I didn't like the yellow at first, but it really grew on me, and everybody sees this car, loves it. Gotta love these roundabouts in Ohio. But this TKX 5-speed, it shifts nice. It's not like the Magnum 6-speed that we put in John 70 GTO, but it is like nice, and it's a whole lot nicer than that TKO. No more TKOs for us. Every one that we've had has trouble going into third gear. They have trouble going into reverse. And they bend shift forks real easy. I think that TKO we took out of this one, I think it had a bent shift fork. That's why it wasn't shifting real well. Car's got a real nice tone to it too. It's not obnoxious, it's just straight. Oh, another thing we did too is we jetted the carburetor down on this thing a little bit too. It was a little bit just too rich, and so we jetted that down a couple jet sizes, and it seems to have helped a lot. It was loading the plugs up a little bit, and now it doesn't seem to do that anymore. Somewhere we got a 160 stat in this thing, and it's running right around there. It's showing about $1.70 on the gauge. Ton of traffic out me crazy trying to hold this shift. Another roundabout. We got two of them in a row here. This thing doesn't handle too awful bad either. It's for stock suspension. I mean, these cars are, I always tell everybody they handle like a three-legged Campbell, but this thing handles pretty good. Vintage air systems, the coolant or the freon in them has to be just right, or they're super finicky. They won't blow cold if it's not just right. It has to be exactly where it's supposed to be. AC on it's running a little bit warmer, but not bad. Still under 180. I've been on a nice long cruise today too. Right now this video's lasted almost 20 minutes. I've been driving this thing now for, I don't know, probably about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. After we got up to cruising at about 40 mile an hour, the coolant temperature came back down to around 170. That's a good thing. I think John was a little bit worried. He thought that the engine had blown a head gasket because I think it overheated on him, but it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't know why it overheated. It really didn't have any reason to. The only thing I can think of, we did change the thermostat, so maybe the other thermostat went bad, which we've been getting a rash of those too. Seems like every third one is bad. Right over here to the right, and I don't know if most of you probably haven't seen this, but this is Wingfoot Lake over here on the other side of these trees. And back over there is a big giant blimp hangar where they keep the Goodyear blimp at. I don't know if we'll be able to see it or not. I don't see it. But that's pretty cool. They got a big hangar down in Akron and they got this one here. And I don't know, I don't see it. Can't see it from here, it doesn't look like. Probably not. There it is. Temperature come back down to 170. AC blowing full blast. These windshields in these cars are like an aquarium. They magnify the sun big time. First I thought the heat was on because the sun coming through the windshield felt hot on my legs. This ought to be fun. I'm going to be going uphill here. Trying to shift this thing. Shut this recording down here and